The automatic doors of the small town hospital slid open with a hiss, letting in a gust of icy winter wind. Ethan Carter, a single father in his late 30s, stepped inside, his breath fogging in the cold air. He carried his 6-year-old son, Liam, whose head rested weakly on his shoulder. Liam's little body was burning with fever, his breathing shallow. Ethan could feel each labored breath against his neck, and it sent a wave of helplessness through him. The waiting room was crowded, parents clutching sick children, elderly couples holding hands, a man coughing into a tissue. Ethan shuffled toward the front desk, his worn-out sneakers squeaking against the tile floor. Name? The nurse asked without looking up. Ethan Carter, my son. He's really sick. I think it's his chest. He needs a doctor now. She typed for a moment, then glanced at the computer screen. Do you have insurance? Ethan hesitated. His job at the hardware store barely covered rent and food. No, not right now. Her voice softened, but the rules were the rules. We'll get you in as soon as we can, but it may be a long wait. Ethan nodded, fighting the knot in his stomach. He carried Liam to a plastic chair in the corner, settling him down gently. The fluorescent lights hummed above, casting the room in a cold, sterile glow. He pulled his thin jacket tighter, wishing he could shield his son from more than just the winter air. Inside, he was screaming. Outside, he stayed still, because fathers don't get to fall apart. Ethan brushed the damp hair from Liam's forehead. Hang in there, buddy. We'll see the doctor soon. Liam's eyes fluttered open, glassy with fever. His small hand suddenly tugged at Ethan's sleeve with surprising strength. Dad, what is it? Ethan leaned in. Liam raised a trembling finger toward the hallway. That's Mom. Ethan's heart stopped. He followed his son's gaze to a woman in a light blue nurse's uniform walking down the corridor, her hair pulled back neatly, her steps brisk but graceful. Liam, you don't remember your mom, Ethan whispered, confused. Liam's mother had walked out when he was barely a year old. She hadn't called, hadn't written, hadn't even sent a birthday card, but Liam's gaze stayed locked on the woman, his lips curling into the smallest smile he'd managed all night. It's her, I know it. Ethan swallowed hard. Kids say strange things, he told himself, fever dreams, but still, there was something in the way Liam said it, pure certainty, the woman. Claire noticed them. Her eyes flicked from Ethan to the frail boy in the chair. She slowed her pace, her expression shifting from professional focus to concern. Is he okay? She asked, stepping closer. Ethan nodded automatically, though the truth was obvious. Fever, been climbing all night. Claire knelt down to Liam's level. Hi there, sweetheart. I'm Nurse Claire. What's your name? Liam, he whispered. Claire's eyes softened. She reached out, brushing her fingers lightly against his cheek, as if afraid he might break. Something in her face changed. Her breath caught for just a second. You have your mother's eyes, she murmured before catching herself. Sorry, I just reminded me of someone. Ethan frowned. Do you know us? She shook her head slowly, but her eyes told another story. Claire had lost her sister years ago to an illness. Her sister had been young, full of dreams, and she had the exact same deep green eyes as Liam. It was a coincidence that hit Claire straight in the heart. I can't explain it, she said softly, but I feel like I've seen him before. Claire stood and glanced toward the reception desk, then back at Ethan. Come with me. Ethan blinked. They said we had to wait. I don't have, it doesn't matter. She cut in, her voice low but firm. He needs care now. She guided them down a side hallway past the crowded waiting area. Ethan could barely keep up, torn between gratitude and guilt. Look, I don't want to get you in trouble, you're not, she said, glancing back with a faint smile. You're letting me do my job the way it should be done. Within minutes, Liam was lying in a hospital bed, a soft blanket tucked around him. Claire checked his vitals, ordered a chest x-ray, and started in Roman 4 to bring his fever down. Ethan stood in the corner, hands shoved into his pockets, feeling utterly powerless yet profoundly relieved. He watched as Claire worked, not just with skill, but with a tenderness that reminded him of something he'd almost forgotten, what it felt like when someone truly cared. 2 hours later, Liam was resting comfortably, his fever breaking. The monitors beeped steadily, and the tightness in Ethan's chest began to ease. Claire brought him a cup of coffee. He's going to be okay. Just a bad case of pneumonia caught early enough to treat. Ethan took the cup, his hand trembling slightly. I don't know how to thank you. You just did, she said with a smile, glancing toward Liam. By the time dawn began to seep through the hospital windows, the storm outside had passed. The snow that had threatened to freeze the night now lay in a soft white blanket across the parking lot. Claire returned with a small paper bag, some soup packets, bread, and juice for him, and she handed Ethan a slip of paper, my number, in case you need help or just someone to talk to. Ethan stared at the number. No one had said something like that to him in years. Most people had looked away, avoided his struggle, pretended not to notice, but here was this stranger offering more than help, offering hope. Liam sat up in bed, smiling sleepily at Claire. "Bye, Mom," he called out. Ethan froze, glancing at Claire in embarrassment. But instead of correcting him, Claire simply smiled, a warmth in her eyes that made Ethan wonder if maybe Liam was right. Maybe Mom didn't have to mean the person who gave you life. Maybe it meant the person who showed up when it mattered most. As they walked out of the hospital, Ethan felt lighter than he had in years. His son was safe, the sun was rising, and somewhere in this world, there was still kindness strong enough to melt even the coldest winter night. Because sometimes family isn't about blood, it's about love, the kind you find in the most unexpected places. This story reminds us that compassion has the power to change lives in ways we may never fully see. Ethan came to the hospital with nothing but worry for his son, expecting another night of struggle. Instead, he found kindness in Claire, a stranger who chose to help simply because it was the right thing to do. Liam's innocent belief that she was his mom was more than a child's imagination. It was a reflection of the love and safety he felt in her presence. In a world that can feel cold and uncaring, small acts of humanity can become lifelines. Family isn't always bound by blood, it's built through moments of care, trust, and love freely given. And sometimes the people we meet by chance become the ones who change everything.